Right, another week on the run. Today is Monday the 8th of March. Today all the kids go back to school in England, as I've just been listening to on the radio. Yes, the fuel prices for the week, pretty close this week. UK Fuels, which is the Shell card through them, not their own specific one, is 100.93. Block BWOC which is the one that uses the Key Fuels network, 100.19. So yeah, the Block card is slightly cheaper this week, whereas last week it was actually UK Fuel. So I'm not sure what I'll use this week. I'll see what happens. I tend to use one or the other, so I only get invoiced each week for one. This makes keeping a bit easier, but it's not a big deal really. Could use both really. Yeah, so I started looking this morning about 9 o'clock. I eventually got a job I did at 11:15. Before that, I bid on a few jobs. Interestingly, there was one job close to me, 8 miles from home, going to Hereford, and I thought, well, I don't really want to go to Hereford, but it was long wheelbase, and I clicked on it thinking, I'll check it out anyway. And it said in the notes, wait and return. So it was showing as 90 miles one way. So it was wait and return. I thought that's 180 miles. But I actually looked on, because I was at home, sat on my laptop, and put in the postcodes and worked out, really, if you go more direct route, it's 75 miles each way. So I thought, right, if I go in 150, that's a fair bit under £1 a mile. It's wait and return. So I went in at 150, left it 5 minutes, still on the feed, but no call. And it didn't say e-quotes only, so I rang them. And said it's still available. He goes, yeah. It says, what's your price? It says 150. He goes, oh, really, not much money on this job, mate. I'm looking for 100, really. If you can do it for 100, I'll send it straight over now. And I said to him, well, it's showing as 90 miles and it's wait and return, so that's 180 miles. You want to do them for 100 quid, long wheelbase? And he's just like, yeah. I was like, yeah, I can't do that. And then that was the end of that one. But yeah, that's a bit of a piss take, really. I mean, I think some shippers must think you go home for like anything you get on the way back to the way he's picked up is like a bonus. I don't know, but it's still loaded miles, because he said it was taking 2 pallets and then bring one back. So that's just loaded miles, isn't it? So not going to get it for 60 pence a mile, are they? But sadly, it disappeared off the feed very shortly after. So I hope some numpty didn't do it for that price. Yeah, and then I had a random call out of the blue, somebody asking me if I was available for a job. A company I've done work for before, happened a few weeks ago, where they rang me up rather than, and I did a job to like Sheffield way, or not even as far as Sheffield, and it was my one job for the day for 70 quid or something, and then I came back empty. And this one was only, I said, possibly, he says, where's it from? B70 it was, which is Albury to WS6 or something. It's like a minimum price job probably. I'm finding in the mornings, if I'm going to do reasonable money for the day, I need to just go for like the longer jobs, like 150 quid mark minimum ideally. And then if I get anything in the afternoon to top it up, or another long job, all the better. But if I go in for a short job, it gets to like midday, early afternoon, and then it really slows down on the feed, and a lot of the jobs are for a following day. So yeah, didn't do that one either. And then actually bid on a job from Redditch down to Southend-on-Sea, which is where I am now, which I got. Was quite surprised to get it, because it was like 45 minutes from it, 33 miles. It was 158 miles loaded, a quoted long wheelbase, 2 pallets, 960 kilograms. Quoted 155, which is nearest down at £1 a loaded mile, and that's quite far from it. And yeah, got the job. Picking up from a flooring warehouse, big warehouse for flooring. 2 pallets, straightforward to load. Down here, I managed to actually shave some miles off. So instead of it being with the loaded, unloaded miles, it's going to work out about 81 pence a mile. but by shaving some off, by going a more direct route, which was 5 minutes longer or something, worked out 91 pence all miles, so that's alright. So I cut across, instead of going straight all the way to the M40 to the M25 and then round and then off to Essex, I cut across off at junction 9 of the M40 through Aylesbury, and also instead of going north at the start, instead of going to the M42 and then round that and down the M40, I just cut straight across the countryside. So yeah, just using my head a bit, managed to shave a bit of miles off. Cost an took extra 5 minutes, but in a nearly 3 hour journey doesn't really make any odds, does it? So yeah, quite happy with that. Got tipped down here about 2:45. I'm a bit slow really down here, bid on a few, didn't get them, but I've done 155 for the day off with the one job, and that's pretty much what I've been averaging since I've come back on it this year. With the lockdown it being slow as it is, so not the end of the world. Southend is a reasonable area, I believe, because you're outside of London and looking at who's around me, there's a fair few, but like there's not many in Southend, and there's quite a lot of industry around here. I was at Chelmsford, that's like 20 minutes away, so good place to be perched in the morning. So fish and chips tonight, or chips tonight, I think. Tramping, yeah, and it's going to be reasonably cold, so I think I'll have the heater on. So that is fuel prices and Monday done. Right, update. So yeah, it's like 1:30 on Tuesday now, and yes, I haven't got a hat on. Don't have a comment to take my hat off, and I do actually have hair, quite short at the moment, giving myself COVID cut still. Yeah, the reason why I always wear a hat generally, in the summer I wear the flat cap and then just a beanie like when it's cold, like at the moment. There's bed hair and then there's tramping hair. I get bed hair really bad anyway, so I try and look at least, reasonably smart when I turn up and do the job and that. And when you're kept in the back of the van, obviously, and minimal washing facilities for the week, it's quite hard to do that. So yeah, that's why I do that. So this morning, I was just sort of Riley by Southend-on-Sea. Actually managed to get a job just after 9, so I was quite glad to get a job early, but it wasn't a great job, but it got me going. It's a long wheelbase job. It was only 5 miles from where I was, one of the big national shippers, long wheelbase van. How many miles was it? 76 miles. So I went in at 65 quid, being quite keen to get it. So I thought it was a good price. So I bid on it and noticed it didn't say quote, so I rang them, spoke to somebody, and he says, okay, I'll just let my colleague know they're dealing with this one, which normally means too expensive or you're not going to get it. But they did ring me back after a few minutes, another lady, and says, yeah, can you do it for 60? George, if you can do it for 60? So it's getting me out of London. I think the prices are really low down that part of the world. Yeah, so I took it. It's 81 miles all in for 60 quid. It's just under 75p a mile all in, which isn't great, but gets me out of London. So I'm like, I thought it was Canterbury itself. It turns out I'm more like 10-15 minutes to the east of Canterbury, towards Margate, and there's very little coming up at the moment. So I did bid on a job from here, small van job. I think there's not lots coming up, but there's not that many people around here. It's a small van job from here to Slough. I think I went in at about 75p a mile all in, but I'm only like a few miles from it, or 7 miles, 15 minutes from it. I didn't get it, and I was watching. It's quite interesting this one because there's not many people around. I was watching to see who got it because there's no one in Canterbury. And it looks like a guy in a short wheelbase van who was down south, sort of more towards Dover, where he headed up this way. He would turn from green to red and headed north, so he got it. So he's further away than me, but he's in a short wheelbase van. So yeah, he probably 30-40 minutes to get there instead of 15 minutes for myself. So yeah, pretty quiet, parked up just next to the industrial estate.
and just having a bit of a mooch around some old wasteland. I think this is really nice day today. I think tomorrow and then into when Thursday is supposed to get really stormy. There's a big storm and gust of wind and gales and all that coming this way, so I thought I'd make the most of it and go for a walk. Pretty sleepy today. I don't know why. I've had my coffee and I'm still sleepy. So yeah, this bit of land, I think it's used to be. I'm looking around, see that little thing over my shoulder. There's a few more dotted around. I think that's a vent, so I'm guessing this area. Being a detective, I think this is an old rubbish tip. That's just been left to, obviously covered it over with soil and just left it. That's why you see these vents dotted around. Yeah, so hopefully get another job. 60 quid so far. I've still set my home location to Southend, and I'm not really getting many notifications full stop. So I'm covering like a good part of East London here. Very quiet, but as ever, fingers crossed, hope for the best. I'll get something eventually.
Right, still Tuesday, about 6:15. Got my hat back on. Yeah, so I sat there for quite a while, and then a job pinged up, sort of down more towards the coast, sort of towards Dover way. TN29, I think the postcode was. I was quite away from it. I was like 32 miles from it. And it was going to Maidstone. First of all, it was on as a long wheelbase, and I just priced it all the way through at about 80p a mile, including all the miles getting there. But it's only a short job, so it was like 60 something. And then it was posted again, but exactly the same job, same shipper, but it's a medium wheelbase, so I dropped it to 55. And I think that was 75 pence a mile, including getting there and getting back up here. I say beggars can't be choosers. It's still not the end of the world. Because I noticed more jobs are coming up around Maidstone and down that way, and I think here you're starting to get towards the masses in terms of people available, drivers or vans. But yeah, I think it's still better perched here than I was the wrong side of Canterbury, really. Yeah, and it was on there for ages. My bids, quotes, and then yeah, they just rang me, give me a job. At the £55 one, the medium wheelbase one, sadly. But yeah, to be honest, it was a funny one. It's picking up parcels from a big warehouse that looks like they ship and sell packaging. So loads of small parcels, probably over 100 parcels, or about 100. But they're all pretty small, nothing heavy. Just like 2 cages worth, loaded them myself. But like I was loaded within 20 minutes on the road. And a drop off in Maidstone was herpes, or first time I've been to this one. I've done one of these before where you're doing collections for like a parcel network. It was a long time ago. I did the last one, that was for Yodel, and it was like 2 collections, barely any parcels on my old van. I dropped it off in the Wednesbury big Yodel thing, in the Midlands, West Mids. So yeah, I've heard bad things about herpes, about dropping them off and stuff, and you got a queue. But it turns out when I got here, I spoke to one guy who was waiting. He was City Sprint guy, he was. I don't know if he was like subbing to them or worked for them. I didn't get a chance to speak to him properly, but yeah, he says you just kind of have to queue and then it's one in, one out, and chuck them on the belt. And then I noticed there's a guy, the supervisor works there, so I just said, I'll just explain to him who I was and I'd never been there before. And he checked my parcels and he says, oh, they're actual next day, so you need to go in straight away and don't put them on a belt. They need to be chucked in these little plastic stillages things. So I went in, yeah, and some nice young lady helped me unload them and sign my POD. So I was quite happy. I was in and out of there 15 minutes. It wasn't too bad really. So now I'm up in Maidstone, and I did get the M20. Is it? It goes down towards Dover and the Channel Tunnel and stuff. I did get to see the Operation Stack. That's still going on. Like, so one side of the motorway is still for trucks, or no, it's quite stacked. Like row of trucks either side of the motorway on one side, so they can get in and out down the middle. And I think that's where they're doing their COVID tests, I'm guessing. yeah, so saw that, and that was it really. So I'm now in Maidstone, 115 for the day, so it's a pretty shit day. But not a total disaster by current standards. I've been averaging about 150 thereabouts the last few weeks with this lockdown, which is crap. But I just kind of accepted that's how it is now, and I'm scraping a living. Just looking forward to better times. We come out of lockdown. Right, just before 3 o'clock now on the Wednesday. So yeah, after I dropped off at Herpes last night, I went and got a McDonald's, filled up with diesel. I always like to fill up in the evening when it's quiet and I'm doing nothing, rather than make sure I got enough fuel for the following day, so I'm not looking for fuel when I should be on a job or looking for jobs. So yeah, filled up, and I actually went back to just around the corner, the same industrial estate to where I dropped off, because it was quite a good spot to park. Quite a nice quiet place, dead end of a cul-de-sac. Well, once I sat there for a while watching some stuff on my tablet, perusing the internet on my phone, just killing time. Actually noticed I was parked outside, I don't know if you know the company Loomis. They got the armoured white trucks, you know, the ones that deliver cash. Started to see them going in and out of depot in front of me. And I noticed behind me was G4S, the same thing, doing the dark blue wagons. You know, the real short, stout-looking, heavily armoured trucks, basically. And I started thinking to myself, is this a good space to park? There might be, you know, security looking out, thinking, what's he parked there for? Is he scoping a joint and all this stuff? But I just stopped there in the end. It was fine. Reasonable night's sleep in the back of the van. I'm quite so cold yesterday, now the heater on, so there's about 14-15 degrees in the back of the van with it set to a low setting. Yeah, and then woke up this morning, M&S just down the road, so got my sandwich from there, 8 o'clock, and I actually got a job about 9:15. There wasn't much coming up, even after 9, considering I was Maidstone I was in. I might have said Maidenhead, but I was in Maidstone, sort of like to the southeast of London into Kent. And I was in that area, you know, so should be getting notifications for a good deal of London, if not all of it, or maybe not the west. It was just slow in general, but I bid on one job. Company I've done a fair bit of work for with collecting COVID samples. It was a small van job, picking up in Orpington, which was 32 miles from me, was that something like that? Dropping in Slough, and then dropping where I am now in Newport, South Wales. Just picked up from a medical equipment supplier in an industrial estate, just a small unit. Actually dropped off the first one in Slough, was dropping off Pinewood Studios again, similar place to where I picked up from a few weeks back, but not exactly the same. Bit of a pain, so I had to sign in and all that malarkey. And then over here, and then it's just a studios here. It just looked like a normal industrial estate unit. Yeah, quite a lot of filming stuff in South Wales. BBC Wales do a lot down here. A good while back I delivered some costumes, I think they were, to a big studio here in Cardiff, and I can say now it's been released. It was The Discovery of Witches. I think I may have mentioned it before. They filmed it down here. But yeah, this was another studio, really quick and simple, that one. Just dropped it to the lady in reception. Yeah, so that's put me down here. So I priced that job. It was a small van job, loaded. I priced it at 75 pence a mile. But like I say, small van. I was a bit surprised to get it, and because I was like 30, was it 30 or 25? It was 30 minutes from it, and it's 25 miles. So it works out at like 66p a mile all in, which is a bit crap really, but beggars can't be choosers. And I'd rather be here than London and the southeast. I'm getting really far being down there. Spent a lot of time there last week, and I'm finding it's always a case, but London, obviously the capital city, draws lots of people and vans in. Much more goes to the London than goes out, I think. So once you get there, it's quite hard to get a decent job out. seems to be lots of work in and around that area, but I don't like going through London or the traffic. So back in Wales now, which means I'm back in the motherland, the first time in the motherland filming an update since last year, so that can mean only one thing. Gair Cymraeg y dydd, Welsh word of the day. Yes, I have got too much time on my hands at the moment, so I've been getting creative. Get it on my phone. Yeah, so today's Welsh word of the day, like I say, first one in a long time. If you come to South Wales, you're likely going to go over a bont, which is the bridge, or one of the bridges. So the big one I went over today, Prince of Wales. So bont, B-O-N-T, or sometimes within a word, depending on how it's used, it will be P-O-N-T. Pont is the Welsh word for bridge. So when you see bont or pont in a place, something to do with a bridge. So bont newydd is new bridge, and such like. So there you go, Welsh word of the day. So that is so far. So hopefully I get another job now. Nice to get a decent long job up north, or if I can get another job within South Wales, minimum charge job, low miles, that'll be nice to bump up the overall ppm as I know it. So yeah, that is Wednesday so far. Right, still Wednesday. Quick update. Yeah, 10 o'clock at night, and I've got 2 more hours to kill. So I'm still in Newport. Excuse me, just a coffee. And a chicken biryani. Yeah, so didn't get a job the rest of the afternoon. Sat around. Like I say, I had an Indian and chicken biryani. Just about to watch something on my tablet, and a job popped up. COVID job. I know the shipper. Same shipper I did the job for this morning. From Newport back to the lab, WC1H, which is just off Euston Road. So I've not been there since last year in the old van. So I'm 6 miles from it, 10-minute drive, just over 10 minutes. It's 144 miles loaded. Small van job, obviously, because it's just going to be a COVID sample from a private address. And I was like, what do you go in for at this time of night? I thought, well, at least got to be at least £1 a mile, because that's what I want to get anyway. I just went in at 175 quid and got it, so that's worked out. It's about £1.21 a mile. Obviously it's picking up at midnight. Should have it off by 20 to 3, and I've set the bed up in the back of the van, and I'm just gonna sleep where I've slept before, just the other side of Euston Road, so I don't go into the congestion zone, and get the £15 charge. But this time of night I probably can go in anyway, but yeah, I won't, because I know where to park. So that's it so far. I got 2 more hours to kill. Gonna watch something on my tablet and get that done, so at least makes it, I'll still count this, even though I'm picking up at midnight, I still count it as part of today's job, because I kind of work it more between sleeps. Once I've gone to bed and gone to sleep, then I wake up, then that's a new day. So yeah, this will be over £300 day, so I wouldn't normally do work like this late into the night, but kind of have to at the moment to do okay out of it, really, or scrape a living. So yeah, that's a brief update. Yeah, still killing time. Got about 45 minutes before I can pick up this COVID sample, and the weather forecast for Wednesday night was like, yeah, terrible, and it's kind of just rolled in. So gonna have an interesting drive over. Really strong gusty westerly wind, so coming from the west, so at least I'm gonna have a tailwind, but absolutely lashing it down. So yeah, it's gonna be quite a journey, I think. Right, Thursday afternoon now, 1:45, I think it was, just checked. Yes, that job went alright last night. Thankfully the rain stopped. It's just really windy. Blown around the road on my way over, keeping out the way of all the tall trucks, just in case they got caught by the wind. Yeah, and got it off. Pretty straightforward, to be honest. The problem with doing jobs that late at night, I find the long distance jobs, or even earlier, just like anytime after 8 o'clock really, is quite often you find motorway works going on and stuff like that. But I had a clean run my way. The other way on M4 there's quite a lot going on. Yeah, fairly clear run. Got that tipped, tramped across the road, Charlton Road, which I've mentioned before, is just the other side of Euston Road. So you're not in the ULEZ, you're just outside it. I tramped there, so I got my head down about just after 3 o'clock in the morning, and I thought it was free parking, or you had to pay for parking from 8, but it was actually half 8, so I set my alarm for 8. Got maybe 4.5, 5 hours, well, what, 4.5 hours slick kit maybe. I didn't feel too bad this morning considering. I had to get up because, yeah, I was concerned about getting a ticket if I didn't pay for parking. Or what I did do, I just sat in a van, and then pretty much, yeah, the guy turned up on a moped with his little handheld device, and then I saw him doing a Porsche that had been left on in the bay a bit up the way, and then he sat there, took photos of it, and obviously waited for however long he has to wait, and then he buggered off. So they're getting a ticket. So I went down the road, got a coffee, and actually snagged the job, but it wasn't picking up till about 9:30. So I was just trying to like hover around the place without getting tickets. And it was picking up, it was a small van job, picking up right in the ULEZ, actually in Soho Square. Soho Square itself, it's like a little shared office place in the corner, from some communications company down to Uckfield, which is down sort of on the way towards Brighton-ish kind of thing, which is where I am now. I priced it reasonably keenly just to get out of there, because I didn't want to be trying to kill time or doing dead miles through the traffic to get sort of like out of central London. So I priced it at 68. Obviously I had to pay 15 quid to go into congestion zone, because I don't pay the ULEZ 12.50 because I'm Euro 6D or 6 plus, whatever it is. So yeah, 15 quid for that, so 53 quid for the job. In reality, it said it was 60 something miles, but I went like direct route, which was 4 minutes longer time wise, but it was 45 miles instead of 62. So it's just over £1 a mile in terms of mileage. Didn't work out great in terms of time. The actual drive from the pickup to the drop off was just under 2 hours, and I try and do minimum of 25 quid all from getting a job to finishing. But yeah, I was quite happy anyway just to get out of town and get paid, and the mileage rate was reasonable. Dropped off a unit out here, just in an industrial estate. It's one of them ones you go to a smallish town industrial estate and you go, well, I've been here before. Picked up the unit across the road last year sometime in the old van. Yeah, so then went to Tesco, got some roast chicken for dinner, low carb dinner today. 4 chicken thighs, packet of crisps, and a gluten-free chocolate bar. It's healthy eating fare. Yes, I'm sat here now. There's a few jobs come up I've bid on, haven't got anything. There's one from East Grinstead, which isn't that far from here really, it's about 16 miles. It's a long wheelbase job, picking up tonight through to Leicester, which is 144 miles. So I priced it all the way in, miles getting there and getting to Leicester, 75p a mile. 144 miles, that came out just over 75, I think it was. So I went in at 120. I rang them because they didn't say quotes only, and it's a bit depressing really. This one, the lady says, oh, I've had quotes already of 99 and 90. So 90 for a 144 mile job is just over 60 pence a mile for a long wheelbase job. So that's a bit shocking, but you get that with some shippers. It's just all about the price. With some people it seems to sound it's just like cheapest price gets it. So I hope the cheapest price gets it and they go and co-load, because I can't see how they're making it work at them rates, or they're just busy fools. So yeah, you just gotta, there are jobs out there at the moment. I know not all jobs are going for that money, because I'm getting jobs at not like that kind of money, getting them like in terms of loaded miles closer to £1 a mile. So yeah, that's the update so far. Hopefully I get another job. quite a good spot here because I'm about half an hour from Eastbourne, is it, and half an hour from Brighton. There's a fair bit of industry here and a few other little towns around here, but Tunbridge is doable as well, half an hour. I'd rather be here than like anywhere in and around the M25 or within the M25. So yeah, that is up to now. So I'm on effectively on 53 quid so far. Once you take out the congestion charge, ULEZ, C zone charge, not so far.
Right, Friday morning now, yeah, so yesterday, bit of a shocker yesterday, that job was the only job I did, so it's 68, but minus Central London, congestion charge 15 quid, 53 quid for the day. Okay, I did about 50 miles, but still, it's a shocker. So yeah, I stayed in Uckfield last night, some chips, got to bed really early because obviously I had a really late night the previous night, so I was in bed for 9:30, set me alarm for 6:30 this morning. Just as I was getting up, a job pinged up from Sea Haven, or just to the east of it on the south coast. I'm in Sea Haven now, by the way. To Manchester, the outskirts of Manchester. It's a small van job. And I thought it's worth a punt. I was just under 20 miles from it. It's just under 280 miles. I went in at, I thought 210. I thought I'd knock a few quid off so it sounds a bit lower. 207 I went in, which is just over 75 pence a mile loaded for a small van, long job, and I got it. The only downside, well, is it's not picking up till 10, so, but it's not the end of the world. So I was in Uckfield, driven down to Sea Haven. I was in New Haven. Anyway, I'll put it on the screen. Yeah, I thought I'd have a look on the boats, so that's where I am now. I'm checking out the harbour. I've got to go east down the coast a bit, so I'll stop and have a look at the actual beach. So here we are. Yeah, never really heard of this place. Well, I've heard of it, but I didn't really know which coast it was on. I had no idea there's an actual ferry here going over to France. So yeah, every day's a school day. So I'm going to pick this up. By the time I tip it in Manchester, it's sort of outskirts of Manchester, near the motorways to the west. So I'm not going to tip it until mid-afternoon, really, 2:30, 3 o'clock at best. Hopefully I can get something closer to home, but that part of Manchester's a lot closer to the West Midlands and where I am now. So that's partly why I've gone for this job, and obviously you can't really be too selective at the moment. So happy to get it. Could always possibly do a Stoke-on-Trent Amazon Flex block, which is on the way home, which would a bit of extra money so I don't do too many dead miles, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see. So I'm just gonna a bit more exploring to do this pickup, and then hopefully have a clear run up to Manchester.
Right, late Sunday afternoon now. Time for the summary, but before I do, just to round up Friday. So yeah, I collected that job. It was just a suitcase from residential address through to a hotel. Had a contact number at the hotel for the person who weren't answering. So I just went to reception, made sure the person was still checked in, and then yeah, they were. So I just got them to sign for it, and then they never rang me back. So I'm guessing they got it. So that was that job. Tipped it just before 3 o'clock or 3 o'clock-ish maybe. And then that put me, I think it's the M60, is it? It goes around Manchester, sort of like the west, as to the west of Manchester. It's not far from Warrington and all that kind of thing. And there's a fair few jobs pinging up in the northwest for Friday, and also jobs obviously for Monday morning as well. I actually managed to get a job. I made an error on this one. I had to ring him up and apologise and say sorry, I can't do it, because it was a job from Knowsley, which isn't that far really. It's sort of down the M62 and then as you go into Liverpool to Lincoln, and I thought it's a bit too much really, more than I want to do, but a long wheelbase, quoted at £1 a mile, got it, but it wasn't an immediate pickup. It was don't pick up till 6:30, so there's no way I was going to do that. I was pretty tired by the end of Friday. given it had worked late a few days and stuff. So yeah, I cancelled that one, but I did pick up another job, which was 4 miles from where I was, just picking up packaging from one unit and taking it to L20, which is Liverpool Bootle area by the docks, to another warehouse. And that was 4 miles to get there and 24 miles loaded. Went in at 50 quid and got it. So it did put me slightly further away from home than I was, but it was, close to £2 a mile. I got there just in time, really, because they were locking the doors and about to clear off. So if I was like 5 minutes later, I would have missed them. So that would have been a right ball ache. But yeah, anyway, that was Friday. So yeah, figures for the week. Monday, one job for 155. Tuesday, two jobs, 60 and 55, which is 115. Wednesday, 132 and 175, which is like late day into London, for 307 for the day. Thursday, one job, 68 quid out of London, but minus the congestion charge, 15 quid, so it's effectively 53 quid. The way I do it is anything that's not normal deduction in terms of like fixed costs or running costs, things like congestion charge, it's 15 quid. If I go over the Dartford Bridge and it's 2 quid or whatever, I'm not even going to bother. But yeah, so effectively we earned 53 quid for Thursday. Friday, 207 and 50 for 257. Yep, so total 887 for the day. For the week. For the day would be nice. Might need an artic for that. I probably still won't get that. So that works out £177.40 a day. Yeah, so I was tramping all week this week, didn't come home, didn't get home many nights, was in the van, didn't use any hotels. So yeah, 1,130 miles from leaving on a Monday to getting back on a Friday, so all miles loaded and unloaded. Works out at 78.5 pence a mile, which is down by about just over 7 pence on last week. So I earned more overall this week, but I also did a fair bit more miles. Partly because I was 92 miles from home, dead miles, getting home after that last job on a Friday from Bootle, Liverpool. And I've done a few sort of small van jobs this week, I suppose. But I did get good money on that one from South Wales, the late one into London. It was over £1 a mile, wasn't it? Yeah. Or was it more? I think it was more. Yeah, so that was the week. Yeah, so I was pretty tired by the end of this week. Doing that late one where I picked up at midnight and didn't get to bed till 3 really took it out of me. So it's something I don't like to do. I think you've got to manage your fatigue, obviously, for safety reasons. If I want to have done a late one, it's hard to drag it back, So I had a nice line this morning. I won't be in any rush to get away too early tomorrow. I'm going to try and this week coming, I'm going to try and go up north more and to the northwest. Easier said than done at the moment, but I really think it's hard work down the south, sort of more like London area on the M1 corridor. I'm finding hard to get jobs. So yeah, it'd be nice to go up to the northwest and ping around like Lancashire and Yorkshire and Cheshire and all that kind of way a bit more, and maybe go down the southwest. And it'd be nice just to avoid the southeast this week, but we'll have to see what happens with that. So yeah, that's it for this week. No real questions to put out there really, but as ever, any comments you've got, tips from myself or anyone else who watches this, as ever, please put them below. Thanks for watching. I think it has been a fairly long one again, but yeah, cheers.